They're still trying to make heavy grenade launchers relevant in PvE, no news there. I think the first highlight of this TWAB is some of the perk updates. Ambitious Assassin and Wellspring will probably re-enter the meta next season, while concussion grenades are getting phased out since they serve the same purpose as blinding grenades. The Gambit and Iron Banner origin traits are getting a rework, and hopefully this will add enough value to make the Gambit weapons worth using over other options. The current origin perk requires you to deal damage to an invader to mark them for your team, which means you're only getting any use out of it when you're being invaded and when you find the invader before they find you. That's maybe a couple times a match. The new one will increase your sprint speed on multi-kills, which I believe will happen a lot more often. Now we just need more incentive to play Gambit to begin with. The next big highlight for this TWAB is in the exotic buffs. We're getting more intrinsic anti-champion functionality to several weapons. Le Monarch and Thunderlord will have Overload, Malfeasance will have Unstoppable, and Wishender is getting anti-barrier. I like these changes, and I hope we continue to get more of them, specifically in the anti-barrier department. When they added it to Arbalest in Season of the Lost, Arbalest immediately went to the top of the meta, and it's still there 2.5 seasons later. So while it was a great change, running parallel to that, it may have made Arbalest a little too meta. Ever since that change, in most content that has barrier champions, you're either running Arbalest or you're trying something new. While I do love Arbalest, it'll be nice to have other options. The biggest highlight of this TWAB for me personally, the one I'm most excited about, is the nerfs coming to Lord of Wolves and DMT in PvP. In Crucible, shotguns in general are about as fun to play against as trying to make a call on a payphone using a boomerang made of loose leaf paper in the middle of a monsoon. No matter how much success you find, you're still throwing paper at a payphone. And Lord of Wolves is one of the biggest offenders. The current ammo capacity lets you get 3 bursts off, versus starting with 2 shells in any other shotgun. They're reducing the starting ammo count to bring it more in line with other options, but they're also changing the alt fire to consume the same amount of 5 shots and with a higher rate of fire. Right now, Release the Wolves is virtually unusable given that it takes 10 of your 15 rounds and your crosshair is in orbit by the 3rd or 4th shot. Generally, even if you hit something with it, you're unlikely to get the kill. These changes will put Release the Wolves in such a usable state that these nerfs may actually be a shadow buff when people instead run around with the alt fire active at all times that increases the damage per shot by more than the 20% damage nerf. I think they might need to do something different with this one, but I guess we'll find out. On the topic of DMT, getting 2-tapped from across the map in a fraction of a second isn't any more enjoyable than playing against Lord of Wolves, but they are removing the damage buff from precision hits against players, which I believe makes it so DMT is by default a 3-tap minimum. I say by default because there will probably be circumstances in which it can still 2-tap, like the Radiant buff or standing in a well or rift, a low resilience target, or some combination of those things. But at the end of the day, a DMT on its own will be less insufferable to play against, and I think that's great news for the state of Crucible as a whole. But let me know what you guys think, don't forget to like and subscribe and all that good stuff, and I will see you in the next one.